Hello everybody and welcome to the Myxxx. 1844 the Myxxx Let's Talk. I am here with my co-host Robin.
Hi.
And we are going to be discussing the beginning of the year up until now. So what do you think about the new year that came in? Not about the new year, the old year that's going out.
It was terrible. Thank God it's going out because too much craziness has happened as far as like losing people, this coronavirus, people in their jobs or whatever, you know, trying to survive, and it's not getting any better.
It's not.
Know, so
it's really not.
Everybody, you have to mask up, wash your hands, do what you have to do.
Yeah, from the beginning, January, in the January area, we had lost our prime basketball player, Kobe Bryant, and his daughter, his beautiful daughter, which is actually his first anniversary coming up in January. After that, we had Breonna Taylor, and there was another incident that happened tragically. And, you know, we talked about it, you know, on our podcast, but we're going to also, you know, we're going to continuously talk about these things because it's continuously happening. Just recently, December, which is Christmas, the day before Christmas, there was a guy that got shot in Ohio in his own garage, and it was such a devastating situation where he had no gun, he had nothing. He was just in his garage, and the cop came up on him, turned off his camera, and shot him. And then turned it back on, and then turned the camera back on, and, you know, where are we from here, you know? So
it's gotta end. It's gotta end. You know,
okay, so where are we from here? We have to actually figure out, right, it has to end.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
has to. Something has
there was another young lady that was actually murdered, I think a month before that. And again, police brutality. So now we're here trying to figure out what we could do as the Myxxx family to kind of like create some type of
cease and desist.
Stop the whatever it
like
is.
Stop the violence, whatever, you know?
Exactly right. You know, it's just a shame. Again, I read about this lady. She was actually walking her daughter, a grandbaby across the street in Manhattan. And an SUV just came in to try to run them over, knocked them down and everything.
Did run them over.
Yeah, well, at least she survived. And
thank God, you know?
Yeah, it was crazy. But these are the things that we are facing, you know, besides homelessness, besides child molestation, besides, you know, like women being abused, or people in general being abused, you know, road raging.
Homelessness is just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. 2020 has got to go.
Well, it's gone.
You know?
It's gone.
Exactly.
But besides all that, you know, we have our presidency that he's just really trying to put us in a hole before, you know, the new Joe Biden comes in with Kamala Harris. So what do you think about Mr. Trump?
Well, he did sign, you know, for us to get the little $600 bonus.
Right.
But, you know, by the same token...
The thing about it, he had no other choice.
But then after that, you know, he's like protesting like they need to give us the $2,000 when all along he knew all we was going to get was the $6,000.
Well, he wanted to give us the $2,000.
Well,
I don't think he wanted to give us the $2,000. What happened was, I think he wanted to kind of like create a situation wherein it was you wouldn't get anything, so the government would be starting all over, trying to give us that plus the unemployment. So we're actually a week behind the unemployment. You know, it's crazy that people are out there suffering.
Exactly.
You know, thank God for the government because they are actually passing bills now that Joe Biden is in office, as far as people that are losing their homes, as far as, you know, hospitalization and this virus and COVID-19, as far as, you know, dealing with situations. What do you think about this this lab that took the medicine and then gave it out without permission?
That's ridiculous. That's crazy. That's crazy. And you know, the people that may have taken it, I guess they were for it or they wanted to take that chance, but if it's not FDA approved, I'm not doing it.
It was FDA approved. The only thing is it wasn't approved by the government to pass it out to people in the communities, and I think it was in Jersey.
It's like bootleg. That's bootleg.
Basically, yeah. So they're going to get fined like probably $1.2 million.
Yeah, but you know, if they have money, they don't care.
Okay.
You know, I'm concerned about the people that may have taken the shot. Like, it's bootleg. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not.
There's so many things that's going on. What do you think about, you know, like far as the schools closing, opening back, closing back?
You know what? If there are a numerous amount of children that are coming up with COVID or whatever, I prefer they stay closed.
Yes.
I'm not really with that remote learning because I have a job. Fortunately, for me, the case that I have, because I'm an essential worker, as they say,
Correct.
I'm able to take my grandson with me to work.
Okay.
So it really doesn't affect me in that aspect.
Right.
But I think of other parents who, I mean, it's really messed up to be, you know, because you know, what are you supposed to do? What are you going to do?
The good thing about
especially if you can't work from home.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It depends on your job,
right.
you know?
Yes. The good thing about this situation, kids are not really contracting the COVID-19. There have been some cases that they have, but for the most part it's the middle-aged adults and they have underlying conditions.
Yeah.
So now you have people that are also taking this vaccination and they're having side effects. So
it's like catch-22.
Correct.
In my opinion.
Correct. Yeah.
Me personally, I'm not going to take it until time has passed and I see how it has affected other people.
Yeah, but then it might be too late because you got to also remember that there's
fortunately
only a
for
few.
Me, right now, God is good. I haven't,
God
you know,
is great.
came in contact and I have no underlying conditions.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, I can fight it. You know,
Well,
but I do take precautions.
This is like walking through the valley of death. You know, you got this virus that's sitting there. It could be sitting at the restaurant.
And
it could
there's
be
a new
sitting,
strain.
Right. It could be
from
sitting
the
at
UK.
the school. You can get on the bus. You can get on the train. And everything that you're doing, this virus is sitting there. So you don't even know.
Mask up.
Right.
Wash.
Exactly.
Do
but even with that,
do,
you know, because you have. Look at Ashanti. You think she doesn't wash up and mask up and different things?
I know.
But she still caught it. So it depends on what you're doing and where you're at.
Yeah.
Because even in my school, like the assistant principal, she had it.
Wow.
And, you know, we tested, and thank God that if nobody else contracted it, but she tested positive.
Yeah.
So you think that, you know, and she's the one that's in the classrooms amongst the children, you know, and here she is, and she's not
dealing
even
with the public.
Exactly, right.
And parents and everyone.
So it becomes a thing where you just gotta just be safe, you know. Make sure you try to
do your best, guys. You know.
Yeah, exactly right.
Be consistent with it. Washing your hands and masking up, and you know, doing what you need to do.
Yes.
Because this virus is not seeming to go away.
And there was another situation. I think it was about a week ago, where this young guy had knocked this old lady down and took her bag. You know.
Like really? Come on.
Right.
Where's the integrity, the morality? Don't you have morals or whatever? Right. I mean, it's serious, but we have to stop hurting our own people.
Well, it's just people in general. I think that sometimes we talk about us as our own people, that we are the only ones living on this earth. But it's people in general, because the United States is actually for everybody. It's just not for blacks, whites, and difference.
Exactly.
Right? Unfortunately, we get the worst part of the deal.
Well, we all need to come together.
So we
we all need to come together and stop the violence. You
stop
know
the madness, right?
Yeah. I mean, like really.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Something's got to give. You know, it's got to give something.
Yeah. Yes. So I was looking at The View today, and Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of them, they was talking about the presidents. And the sister was talking about the different levels of Trump and the things that he was going through, as far as everything, as far as with black society, as far as like the taking children and everything, and it's in her book, and she's actually castaway. She's like a castaway now to the family, because she's a tell-all book. So you have to actually look into these things and figure out, what's going on in the world, because we are here. We are not here to leave. We're not here to be back in slavery. We're here to stay, and we're here to make a move. And the moves that we're making now is
we've got to make it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what about the younger generation? What kind of world are they gonna have?
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
Something's got to give.
Yeah. So, what do you think that we could do in order to make it a better place?
Well, we really need to start loving each other You know what I mean?
Loving
Start
each other.
being for each other.
Okay.
You know, you have to look out. You know,
Okay.
I mean, you see different races or whatever, and they're for their people. They look out for each other.
Right.
I mean, even it's the little things that count. I have been on a bus and seen Spanish people or whatever, and they may get on and not have enough or change, and their people are quick
to help them out. Correct.
To dip them.
I've seen that
Exactly.
too. Yeah.
You know,
not only that, but if you go to the bodegas and you go
Yeah.
to like the laundromats and stuff, they are really actually
They
community.
look out for
their
their
community
yeah,
recognized. Yeah.
So we
themselves.
all need to be like that. The world has to get back to, you know, we have to love one another.
Right.
We have to look out for the younger
And in
generations.
our culture, what do you think that needs to happen?
We really need to look out for each other like the other cultures do.
Right.
You know, stop being against each other.
Happen, though? That's
envious.
the thing. How do
you got to
think?
stop hating each other and stop being jealous and help. Give you a hand, help the next one. Each one teach one. You know,
Each one teach
things
one.
like that.
Correct.
You know,
That's
we have to go back to
from Precious.
from
with,
back in the days or
Monique,
whatever.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
like I'm
each one
old
teach
school.
one.
You know,
Right.
like they say, it takes a village, and there are no more villages or
At all.
you know, everyone's
At all.
for themselves, and you can't. It's not
Right.
going to work
Yeah.
like that.
I remember when I first came to New York, my mom spent, we were here. I remember going down into the country, and I stayed there for 2 years, so it was feeling like I was down there because I was young. And coming back up to New York and seeing people actually helping people, like, you know, leaning on the family members and the food and everything else. And
Well, you know,
the
not
grocery
telling our
stores.
age, but back in our days, they did that.
We're
Like,
dinosaurs.
there was a village.
We're dinosaur
No,
age.
we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Okay.
You know, good
Okay.
black don't crack. You know, we're just knowledgeable
Right.
and wiser.
So,
You know what I mean?
And
but
you know, all the pool. You know,
we
like,
don't
I
do
remember
it.
the park parties and
yeah.
you know, like, and I lived in the project, so we had.
See, and you from
yeah,
Brooklyn, I'm from the Bronx, so they used to do that.
Yes,
You go to
yes.
the schoolyard and the DJs would be out there.
Outside, right.
Yeah,
And
you
then
know,
it would
we'd
be
have
like
a good
the
time.
right.
No shootings.
Right, yeah.
We were able to have a good
I wonder
time.
when did they start shooting? Was it
You know?
after the 80s or during the 80s?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, I
don't
think
even
it
wanna
was
say
worse when it was.
when the rap music changed.
Yeah, I
Because
think
back
it
in
was-
our days, it was good. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was
yeah,
more
yeah.
positive, encouraging, or whatever.
exactly,
You know, I mean,
yeah.
they cursed and all that, but
Well, we was in the
every-
Tompkins projects.
You know, it
and
wasn't
the Marshall.
bitches and hoes and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Really.
Yeah, we
you
was in
know?
the Tompkins projects in the Marcy. That's where Jay-Z and them grew up
Mm-hmm.
at. So, you know, like then I had opportunity to meet them when they were nobody. I guess I would never have opportunity to meet them now because of
There's
the
somebody.
status. Right,
exactly. You know?
But you know, and they were like rebels. They would come into projects and rob people. Not Jay-Z, I wouldn't say him. But, you know, some of the people that he hung out with, they would come
Yeah,
in
but it
and
was a
rob
way of
people
life,
for checks
you know?
and
Sure.
all kinds of stuff. They would beat up the postal guy. Because
Wow.
Marcy Projects was the projects.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
nobody else with Marcy Projects, you know. So, therefore, it was like a thing where, you know, like, what do? You know? So you had to walk the trend and walk through the
Exactly.
projects lightly.
Exactly.
Right, you know.
You
And there
know?
were situations where, you know, like people were actually being hurt. And I remember back, I think the late 70s, that's when you start seeing like people changing, you know. I remember somebody threw a bottle off the roof and it landed. And
Started
hit this
getting
girl.
more violent,
Violent,
so to
right,
speak.
yeah.
You know, what I mean?
We had cameras in
People
the
used
building.
to fight.
Yeah, the
Fist
cameras.
fight.
Right, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
the most they may have done was
But
pull
then
out
you
a
gotta
knife.
remember that's when crack snuck in. So
Yeah.
the cocaine
Yeah.
crack snuck in and became an
Rampant,
epidemic,
yeah, epidemic.
Of the projects
Exactly.
and people of color and the people that were doing things. So
Zombies. They turned into zombies,
Exactly,
you know, so
right.
to speak.
You know, and then all of a sudden families disappeared.
Yeah,
You know,
destroyed.
the villages closed up,
Destroyed.
the doors closed up.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so
Destroyed.
even and they were shooting dope. They wasn't as bad as
No,
much
they
as that,
weren't. They weren't.
You know,
You're right.
because they was they
You
had
know?
their own.
It was like, what's going on? It was a
exactly,
different
yeah,
era. They
yeah.
were just like
And you're from the Bronx,
relaxing.
and I'm from Brooklyn,
Exactly.
so you already know
Exactly.
that
It
even
was
the one that was
different.
on dope, they was just in their own area.
Exactly.
But
in
then
their
when
own zone.
crack came out, it was a whole different thing.
That's when shit started. Excuse my language.
That's
Started
okay.
running
That's
rampant
okay.
and. You know,
You know.
robbing and stealing.
Yeah, and
you know, got a
take it
little
from your
out
own
of
family
control.
members. So that's when,
Yeah.
people started closing their doors towards people that was out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, people that were actually, and, they were go-doers. They would go to their
Yeah.
jobs, they had their cars
Exactly.
and everything else. And then one minute they okay, and then the next
But with
minute
the crack, it was
they
like
are
forget
done.
they can't be functional.
Right.
They weren't
right,
functional
right,
addicts.
Right.
You know,
Right.
at a certain point, all right, they could probably do cocaine and smoke weed and drink or whatever, but they could still get up and go to work and handle
But
stuff.
that was another bad
You know,
element.
exactly.
Yeah.
Once
But in
the
those
crack
days,
came,
yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah,
You know, that was
exactly
like
right.
on their
And it's
mind
so funny how
24/7.
even like the government has that because of the fact that now crack is under control. It's like you could be a
Exactly.
functional crackhead
But
and go to work.
But it's the pills now.
Well,
You
yeah,
know
the
what I
kids,
mean? Like
yeah.
the oxycodone and Percocets or whatever.
Yeah.
It's got people walking around like zombies. Well, not more so out here in Long Island, but
In the
I've
city.
seen it, yeah, like in the city, and
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, but that's a different
you know?
type of drug that they're using. But there's just so many different things that they're doing. It's like crazy because of the fact that, you know, like if it's not one drug, it's another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's
Exactly.
not, you know, like if they can't get coke, they're going to the medicine cabinet and take an aspirin or a pill and
Try to
then try
achieve
to
the
chop
same
it up
effect.
and try to
Exactly.
achieve the same effect. You know, and it's crazy because of the fact that, you know, like what do you do about that? Like how do we handle those type of things? You know, we do have drug programs, we do have places
They
that
have
you
to
can
want
go.
to.
You have to
know?
want to. Yeah,
The
that's true.
person themselves, they have to want to.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
know?
how do we, as the Myxxx, can reach out to people and tell them like, yo, that's not what it is now. Especially in today, you know, we have another chance of a black presidency. Even though she's a female, she's a vice president,
Exactly.
but she still controls. You know, she still have control. If we only could actually just sit back and know what type of petitions and things to sign so we can get our communities back on point, then we need to do that. You know what I'm saying? So we have a lady here, her name is Carol A. Gordon. She still runs for Senate. She ran for Senate last time and we backed her. She'll be coming up in a few minutes. But, you know, it's a thing that's it's important to have the community as a whole, not just in bits and pieces. You know, everybody's doing what they have to do to make money, but we need to figure out how to bring this community back, how to bring the village back.
And reach out to our congressmen and women or whatever.
Yeah, your locals, you know, figure out
we have
who's
to become more involved,
Yes.
you know, in our community and what's going on, you know.
Right. So even though Carol, like, you know, she's still here with us, so as she go along, we're going to actually still, you know, reach out and give her the support. And this year, we're going to be double strong. Because whatever she needs from us, we're gonna actually give to her,
and promote,
so she can, so she
she'll
can
be ready for next year,
you know.
again.
So that's our powerhouse on this segment is Carol A. Gordon, because she always runs for state senate every 2 years, you know.
And she'll be up next with us guys, so you'll get to meet her again.
Yes,
and see what she has to offer us.
Yes. So what do you think about single moms? Single moms, you know, with their children. How do you handle?
It's not easy.
Right.
There's a lot of strong black women out here, young women, women of color. It's something that we have to do because we're mothers.
Right. So how do you reach out to try to pull the fathers in on a co-parenting? What would you try to show the people? What can you tell the people how to reach out if there's anything that you can tell? You're a grandmother, you're raising a grandson.
Well, fortunately for me, you know, my son was raised well or whatever, and I taught him morals and values. His father and I, although we're not together, we're friends.
Okay.
And we had to learn to mature and be that for his sake.
Okay.
You know, so it worked out for us. There are not a lot of men that are interested in doing that. The problem
is it the men, or sometimes it could be
you
the
know,
women?
It's both. It's both the men
You know.
and the women, especially the younger generation, because they have no morals or values as far as maybe they don't have examples, I should say. You know, my parents were together 30-something years, so I had a mother and a father growing up. A lot of them don't have mothers and fathers. You know, especially young women, when they don't have fathers, that's what makes them go from man to man, because they're seeking attention, they're seeking love, something that they didn't have growing up, which means then they don't have the relationship with the father. Booty calls, you know, it's just sex, you know, and then they wind up having the babies. Not realizing, some of them still don't realize that just because you have the baby, you're not gonna have the man.
But is that from like the broken home, or is that from a
it's broken
generational
homes.
curse?
It's not even a generation. Some of it is a generational
You know, could it
curse.
be like
you know?
sexual molestation? You know, because
it's a
there's
little
a lot.
bit of everything.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of everything.
When
When young women don't grow up with fathers, they don't know how men are supposed to treat them.
Okay.
So they settle for what they're given,
Okay.
or because they like a guy and he may want them to sleep with him, they're gonna do it because they don't know that just because I do this, he's not gonna stay. When he's ready to go, he's gonna go.
Okay.
Like they say, a man is gonna be a man.
Right.
You know, you as a woman too, you also have to have morals and values and self-preservation for yourself.
Correct.
You see,
That's correct. Yeah.
some of them don't.
Right.
You know, they don't value themselves, so they allow men to treat them any old kind
So
of way.
as you're looking at the audience, what can you tell them about this?
Me personally, I mean, women, they have to learn to be strong. They have to have morals and values. They have to have respect for themselves.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What one won't do, the next one will. You know, so if this one wants you to sleep with him and you say no, and he's like on to the next one, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to get it. You know, if he want it, he going to get it. You know, you as a woman, you got to have morals and values.
Right.
You know, you got to have self-respect. And a man is going to treat you the way you allow him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you have high values, he's going to treat you highly. If you treat yourself poorly, or you allow him to treat you any kind of way, that's what you're going to get.
Okay.
You know, you have to demand respect to a certain extent.
So now, if you conceived a child, and the child was born, but the father was there for like maybe a couple of months, and then all of a sudden he decides to leave, you know, would you allow him just to go? Because 9 times out of 10, women just let men go on and they try to raise their child by themselves. Or would you try to pull him in so he can be a father?
Well, I give him the benefit of the doubt, you know what I mean? Like, I give him, like, offer, come visit your child or whatever.
Okay.
It's not even, me personally, it's not even a monetary thing because I can hold my own.
Right.
See, now if a woman can hold her own, sometimes she'll allow him to go, you know,
Right.
because it's like you're not worth it.
But is that fair to the child?
No. Well, see, then you have to learn, and it takes a certain amount of maturity.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Because that woman could be like, okay, well, I mean, I'm a perfect example. When it came to my son's father, eventually I had to seek child support because I needed the help at the time.
Okay.
But meanwhile, when I chose to have my son, his father and I had been together for 3 years already. We were engaged. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not ready to get married.
Right.
I chose to be a single parent.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But eventually I had to seek that child support.
Okay.
He wasn't happy about it.
Did he stay around to
Oh,
help
sure.
him?
He stayed around because he was a good guy, and it was
Right.
like, I'm going to do what I got to do. And he moved to Virginia,
Right.
whereas he was from Harlem. I'm
Okay.
from the Bronx. Like I said, we were from the city. So we had this relationship, but at that time things got crazy too because he was from Harlem. The crack was like running rampant or whatever, and I'm sure he indulged here and there or whatever.
Right. Okay.
And when he felt as though it got out of control, he left.
Wow.
And I had to respect that because rather than you drown here
Right.
and get caught up, you chose to leave.
To get yourself together.
But in the meantime, like I said, holidays and everything, he did stay in touch.
So he was
a
a father.
took care.
Yeah.
He was a father.
Yeah.
He took care of his child. Like I said, we went through trials and tribulations when I chose to seek child support. He wasn't happy about it, but he got over it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to this day, we're friends.
Right.
And like I said, we had to come to that conclusion and that maturity level for the sake of our child because I didn't want him to grow up not liking women. I didn't want him to grow up, you know, feeling some kind of way because I wasn't with his father at the time.
Okay.
But like I said, his father stayed in his life, so that was good.
Okay.
He was very consistent. So, I mean, me personally, women, you need to get to know the men first. You know, instead of sleeping with them real fast or whatever. Like they say, the best lovers are your friends. You have to be friends first before you can be anything else.
Okay.
You know?
And for the men out there, you guys need to jump up to your responsibilities. If you guys got kids out there that y'all don't know, that y'all haven't been in touch with, you guys need to reach out, you know, because in order to get a village, we have to be a village. And the village starts with us. I'm not a father or anything, but I look at a lot of people that are fathers, and some of them are very good fathers, so I can't knock any of those. But the ones that are not fathers, I need to get out there and learn your children. Make sure you raise your children. A lot of women raise young men, and the young men sometimes mimic them. And when they mimic them, they start acting like them.
A woman
And
cannot teach a man how to be a man.
Sometimes it becomes a thing where they fall into the same area as their mother instead of looking at their father. So you guys need to reach out and grab onto your children and teach them and bring them to a point where they are going to be grown and respectful, and we can run this land the way we're supposed to, the way it was what was supposed to be. Okay? What was you saying?
Yes, because a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man.
Correct.
We can teach them a lot of things. We can raise them up. They can be the best or whatever, but we can't teach them how to be a man. We're not men.
Right.
You know, so there are certain things you guys know and do. We can't do it. We sit down when we pee. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know. But on that note, who is our next guest?
Well, the next guest is coming up. Is going to be Jalik.
Okay.
It's Tyson Jalik. His last name.
And
but anyway, he's gonna be coming in. So, and he's gonna come in with Carol A. Gordon and
they're gonna speak about
Tia. Okay. But before we get into that, we have to talk about what we're gonna be doing next year. Okay. Next year we're gonna be getting involved with certain people as far as their moves in life. The things that they're doing. So this young man that we're coming up now, you know, he's making moves.
Okay.
A very powerful black brother that's making moves. Got a magazine out. We also have a lady. Her name is Anita. She's gonna come on next week. So she's making moves. She has a construction company, and she also has a beauty bar, and she's all about black empowering the women. Black women.
Okay, cool.
So we have that, and then we have other people that's coming in. You know, we're trying to bring back Miss Javon Egypt, House of Asia. I spoke to her last night. She's doing well, and you know, she kind of called me, so I was surprised. So, and I'm waiting to see if she wants to come back.
Okay, that would be nice. Yeah,
and,
we can have her as a guest appearance.
You know, so we also have Pamela Robinson. She didn't come in tonight, but we want to also engage in this year as far as doing our fundraising and trying to reach out and help people as far as, you know, feeding them, clothing them, and just being a part of their lives and trying to show them that there's better things to be done.
And there's hope. Yeah, there's hope. People out here that still care, you know.
Exactly.
All righty.
So, and that in retrospect, we're going to bring you our guests and our panelists.
And we'll be right back.
Thank you. I forgot his name.
Welcome to the mix. My name is Atia, and today we have a special guest with us. I'm being interviewed by our very own Carol A. Gordon, and his name is Tyson, and he is the author and the creator of Urban Life News magazine. It's a fabulous publication. So we're going to get a little bit from him. Some of what we're going to be discussing is just for the people.
Absolutely.
And we're going to find out, you know me, I like resources, I like action, I like to know what we can do. We're not just talking, we're looking for results because we love ourselves and we love our people. And if we can be stronger as a people, then the world will be better. So again, I'm Atia Murray. I am, some of the things that I love to do, I am the CEO of Smells Like Gifts. My gift to you guys is smelling great through my body oils. And I also have apartments for rent in Long Island, Queens, and Brooklyn. So that's my two passions and some of the things that I share with my community. And we have Carol A. Gordon. Carol,
Hi, how are
introduce
you
yourself.
everybody? My name is Carol A. Gordon and I am the CEO Curator of Unspoken History Treasures. I teach African American history, which is American history, using actual historical artifacts. I am glad to meet this young man because I can get me an autographed copy of this book, which he is doing the same thing through other resources, which is great.
Oh,
Educate,
yeah.
teach.
Educate, teach.
And he's speaking for the ancestors that was before him.
Indeed.
I got chills.
Indeed,
Lisa Nancy.
indeed.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
I agree.
This is
Yeah.
a powerful panel here today.
I agree. Because the ancestors actually, they paved the way so that the gift of life could be ours. Oftentimes they say that God and the ancestors are synonymous because if you trace your lineage, if you go back to the origin of man, you go back to the Creator.
Yeah.
So inside each man and each woman in each generation, there's a portion of creation, right? Because
That was beautiful.
we keep creation going. That's God.
That's so beautiful. That
True.
because I'm about life, and that's such a profound thing that if you trace us back to the beginning, if you go back through our line, there's God. So thank you for that. I love my beautiful. I mean, there's so much the words are so beautiful, and the universe has so many messages for you, and I'm blessed to always get them. So I'm thankful for that. What else did you want to share with us today?
I'd like to know, for you to come to this path of publishing this book, and I don't believe in coincidences. I believe things happen for a reason. The path that you've taken, was that to bring you to this point, to give this knowledge out to people and to share and write a book and publish and everything like that?
Well, that's a great question. I never looked at it or articulated that in that fashion, but I agree because part of my decision to come up with a hip-hop street culture themed magazine was to preserve the culture. And when I created or came up with the idea for Urban Life News magazine, this was my third time being incarcerated. I was in the federal facility, FCI Allenwood, in 2009, and I was getting ready to be released, and I was trying to figure out at this stage in the game, I was already an older gentleman, so going back and forth to prison, at this point I had enough.
Okay.
So in other words, is that what they call a three-time loser?
Yeah. Well, it depends on.
He's really not a loser.
No,
but
well,
you know what I mean, right?
Well, a coin got two sides.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. I was waiting for that. I was pulling it out of you.
Well, no, it depends on your perspective because
Right.
Yeah.
if a person, man or woman, goes to prison 3 times and don't utilize their experiences, then that amounts to a loss. Right? If you go back and forth out of incarceration and you don't spend time getting some things for yourself and your growth and development, so that when you return back to the village, you got things to embetter yourself and embetter the rest of the people as a result of your experiences, then you wasted your time.
Right, you wasted
See,
your time.
the contrary, that's not true for me because I utilize every single day, every single moment of my incarcerations to grow and to develop. And even when I didn't get it right, even though I didn't get it right a lot of times, I was still a work in progress. And so there was no wasting no time. There were no losses. There were only victories.
Very good.
I have a
Very
little
good.
bit of
That's where you got to this,
So I'm a
right?
3-time winner.
Right. Very good. We changing that, right?
What is it about jail that doesn't make, it's a weird question the way I'm phrasing it, doesn't make people not want to go back?
Well, because the very nature of jail is, in order to survive, you have to become something else. You have to become somewhat of an animal. You have to adapt. And in the process of adapting, you might pick up ways and traits that are not suitable to live in the streets.
Oh,
And then a lot of time men come home and they don't realize that you have to make a transition. You have to
Damn, that was deep.
reacclimate yourself back
Okay.
into society.
So true.
And there's a lot of things that gets in the way of that process. And then also there's not a lot of programs and resources
Not
for
now,
us
right.
while we're there that are specific to us and our needs.
They
Right?
still have
That
the
was-
college
that was
going
great.
on in there?
Well, they took college out
You
of
see?
prison,
Right.
the original college program, because people in society were complaining that people who are coming home from incarceration were taking all the jobs.
You see what I'm saying?
But then it's the people who are here are United States citizens who are taking the jobs.
But
It's
we,
not-
But
but
they-
that but
they're
that's
gonna
political.
get the
But that's
degree.
political. But that's
Yeah.
political. That's political.
I never knew
game
that.
playing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you count the percentage of people, only 10% of
It's
the
not that much,
population,
right?
only 10% of the population go to prison,
That's right.
Really?
and not 10% are being released. So who's taking the jobs?
So this
Right.
is the systemic things that we're talking about. Like, you may have somebody who has never been to jail, and you look at someone who keeps going back in. You just talked about mindset, and we spoke about mindset before.
Yes.
And then you have the system that's saying no, telling you that no, you cannot.
I lived it.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so
did.
you're
I mean, I lived it. You know, like
Yeah.
once the streets, if you spend any amount of time in prison, once the streets get out of your system, and what I mean by that, once the drugs and the alcohol and the ripping and the running and the hanging out and all the
Right.
noise that we have to manage and maintain on a daily basis, once that gets out of your system, your sensibilities start to wake up, and your survival instinct starts to kick in. If you any kind of mature man or woman, this is what takes place.
This is what it takes.
You begin to wake up, and in that process of waking up, you begin to look around, and you start to look for things that you need to change and to grow, and there's nothing there. Same old plumbing
Right,
program,
same thing.
same old maintenance program, same old construction program that they're giving these kids in 6th and 4th grade.
Right,
So you're building fireplaces that look really nice.
right.
You're building these big old projects, but you're not
Nothing's
giving
changed.
but you're not giving these kids any real live transferable skills to go home and do that
Good
job.
Right.
However, with that being said, if you serious, all that stuff works too.
Right, because you talked about
What's
research.
the next step?
See, now we're talking about the focus man. The focus man, the man who's serious, he will use anything
Anything,
at his
right.
disposal and make it work.
Then
Right.
get to the next step.
Yeah, and get to the next step.
Utilize it.
Yes, because the next step, it materializes another step.
Right. I know a young man who was incarcerated, and he took the electrical
Electrical
course.
trade, yeah.
Yeah, for 6 years, and he did it so well in the 7th year. He was teaching it, but when he came home, he couldn't get the electrician job because he had to go be an apprentice again for another so many years.
Yes.
But I
yes.
was saying, why couldn't they use that when he had to apply
Right,
that
the
to get to the
time.
next step?
You see, that's misleading about New York State in particular because
Right.
they are supposed to give you a certificate
Right.
Right.
that can have how do I say this, transferable
Verbal
hours.
steps, Right.
They're supposed to give you some sort of certification
Right, right.
so that you can take outside to a licensing agency
Agency,
and see
right.
what you need to finish this. But
Cool.
but think about it though. Even in that question, shouldn't they give you the real program?
Right. Right.
Regardless of where you at, so that when you come home you don't have to do
Right.
it.
And
You
the
give you
extra
the same
step, yeah,
instruction.
right.
Why are you getting a different?
Right. The same thing. over
Like
and
think
over
about that
again.
question.
Yeah.
Let's think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Why what you are
Right.
learning for 6 years
Right.
isn't what you need to survive in the streets. So you're
Right.
just
Right.
playing house.
Right.
Right? You're
Right.
just playing around at somebody else's expense.
Right.
So when you come out to the streets and you try to find a job
Can't do it.
from something that you were doing for 6 years, then you become discouraged.
Right.
That.
And then when you become discouraged, a lot of young black men, we don't talk to nobody.
Right.
Yo,
And
do
it's
not
almost
talk. I
like
always
this
say that.
system-
You don't have outlets. Men in general. That's something my husband says to me. He says, what do you think because I'm a man I don't have feelings? And my honest answer is yes. My honest answer is yes. You'll move like that. We show emotion. You know we are emotional. You'll have to be strong. So just like how they do for the strong black woman, that's why we have issues in the medical field because we're thought to be strong. So if they think that we're strong as women and we can't get, if we're having a baby, the feelings that we have are not true. How do you think they think about black men? Not only a black woman saying you may not have feelings, but how does the world look at you like you don't have feelings, you know?
Oh, that's game.
Yeah, it's all them. Yeah, that's.
Didn't your father have feelings?
I don't know.
Because he's a man.
My father had.
That's what I'm
feelings.
saying.
Yeah.
Men
No, I'm just- no, I'm just asking-
y'all don't.
No, but
We don't look at you guys like
but,
that.
But
if
we gotta
we're
ask a
honest.
real question. Did your
Yeah.
father have feelings?
Yeah.
Because regardless of what our relationships are with men that we're having or intimate relations with, what about your uncle? What about your granddad?
But as you say these things,
These
I
men-
don't consider their feelings. I don't consider them being emotional creatures because men just move like what we were just talking about.
But there's some
Men are doing.
Some men
Yeah.
don't.
We all have.
Some
They
men
are
show
emotional
their-
men,
Right.
but I don't think that I've ever considered their feelings.
But we don't really have
period.
time to be out here in America being emotional.
That's for sure. Not in America.
Emotion is a response to something that took place, but intellectually and strategically is what you do with that emotion.
Right.
We all have emotion. You can't live without emotion. Emotion is energy in motion, right?
Right.
Whether you use it to do something good or to do something bad, we all have emotion. What you do with that emotion
Right.
is that strategic.
Right. Now I'm trying to get into your head a little bit more because you said while you was incarcerated. Did you have any mentors in there or someone that took you underneath your wing and said, come on, I've been out there and I know I'm not getting out for another 10 years. Let me help you and direct you and guide you to get going where you're supposed to be
Or
going?
are we getting that from a movie?
Well,
Well,
no, you're getting,
I'm saying, are we getting that
I
idea?
I
you know what I'm
understand
saying,
what
right?
you're saying, but yes,
Not what you care
you're getting
about.
you're getting the imagery from a movie.
Does that
And-
happen?
But the reality of how it takes place is, sometimes if a man steps to another man and starts speaking to him like that in the prison setting, you have to be cautious, because we dealing with highly intellectual beings. Right, see the image of the prisoner
Yeah.
is a misnomer. Some
It
old
is.
dumb old guy going to prison.
It is.
These guys are different kind of guys.
And they have to work within this small space.
No, but
to get
these
things
guys
done.
are different kind of guys. These
Wow.
guys are, you gotta remember who they were before they got arrested.
Wow.
Right? Black Panthers, freedom
Right.
fighters, activists in the community,
Right.
kingpins who
Yes.
made $100,000 a week.
Yes.
Have you ever made $100,000 a
Businessmen.
week? You know what I'm saying?
Real
but,
businessmen.
But think about who we're talking about.
Yes,
Right.
And,
yes.
but it's also the worst of the worst place to be too. So we're dealing with very shrewd men,
Yeah,
and we're
okay.
dealing with hard times.
Right.
Prison was very much different in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s than it is
Okay.
now.
Okay.
If you go back to Attica,
Yeah, of course. There was
1971?
there was more prisoner rape going on. People were
Right.
being oppressed and taken advantage of.
Right.
A lot of that stuff ain't going on now because
Right.
just the consciousness in prison has changed.
Really?
and
You
that
know, the-
helped it. In
Yeah.
1971,
Yeah.
it changed some of the things. And
Oh, absolutely. That's the foundation.
What was going
Yes,
on.
the Attica riot was
Right.
big. But to get back to
Really?
your question though, in terms of mentorship, absolutely they're mentors, but you just don't
Right.
call them mentors. You call them homie.
Oh, homies.
Big- big
Okay,
bro.
that's what I wanted to
Are
know.
You
there
know,
people within the
big- in the prison, they're-
What I understand inmates, but are there like guards or librarians or people that take an interest in anybody? Is there room for that
Absolutely.
type of stuff?
Yes, in different degrees of
Okay.
existence.
Okay.
The rules regulate everything, right? The rules govern everything, but relationships within the rules always exist. Life exists in the gray area.
Right.
Prison is another world.
Yes, it
So you
is.
have to understand that this officer or this civilian is locked in with this
People,
person
right.
for 8 hours a day
Yes.
for 4 and 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
You
Wow.
can't stop. You can't
That was
stop.
deep.
You can't
Right.
stop human nature. People will
Right.
get to know
They
each other.
will.
If you're a good guy, your heart will shine through.
Shine.
And the
Right.
COs that see good
If
in
they
people,
have, if they have
okay.
some compassion and you have the swag and the ability to
Wow.
communicate with them,
Yeah.
then you can make a connection.
Right. Right.
But in terms of mentorship, that comes from other strong men
Mm-hmm.
who've been there before you,
Right.
and for some reason your path cross.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, he's been there, he's seen your type before, and you might fit the bill. His little brother, his nephew,
Right.
and he might
take you any
and he might begin to, from a distance, look out for you.
Okay.
You know, because everybody gotta be their own man. So he might, from a
Okay.
distance,
Yeah.
hear about something that's getting ready to take place,
Okay.
and he might give you the space to develop. He
Right.
wants to see first. He wants to see how you're gonna react,
Right.
because people don't flock to chumps. You
Right.
don't flock to weakness. If you got a guy flocking to weakness, then his interest might not be good.
Right.
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 Which makes sense because you.
So there's a lot of
you-
powerful mentors, man. Some men who are never coming home. They're never
Right.
going to
That's
see
why I
this
said,
world
yeah.
again.
Right.
And those guys are some serious guys. And that's why the foundation of Urban Life News Magazine is
Yeah.
free through me.
Right.
Because I may not be able to free you physically.
But you could
But
read
through
the
the-
magazine.
I love
Yeah, it's through
It's
the
like
work.
reading the book and you're around the world.
But not only reading the book and you're around the world, but inside Urban Life News Magazine, we try to create the type of information that'll help you immediately transform some aspect of
Right.
prison life or any aspect of life. Why and how? We have the latest laws.
Right,
We might
I
talk
see that
about
in the
gun,
book.
gun
Yes,
violence
yes.
and
That's what I'm
education.
talking about.
We might talk about
Yes.
what crack does to the community. We might put how to buy a home. What
Home,
are the
right,
real
yes.
steps?
That's what I'm talking about.
You
How to
know,
get your
um,
finances
Yes, how to
together.
clean your credit, how
Right.
to how to pay a bill.
Right.
And then we throw some models in there. We throw some
That's
hip
what
hop content.
I'm attracted to
We
that
have
too.
to because nobody don't want to.
And you have shout outs in here too.
I love
Absolutely,
the shout-outs.
where,
Yes.
where people can reach out to their family members,
Families,
and
right.
the prisoners can reach out, and
Yeah.
the family can reach to the prison, and then there's an exchange
Right.
from
Which is good.
from the inmates to the
Community, right. And everybody could
Because
read about them.
85% of the prison population come from specific communities in New York State,
Right.
and they're going back to those communities. Yeah, I remember they're going back.
That's interesting as well.
Why not arm them with what they need?
Right.
Or is
Which
that
they
done on
don't.
purpose? We talked
I
about
mean,
that
you
a
know
little.
it is. Of course it is. At this stage in the game, we already know
Oh,
that
boy.
And I
everything
know
is
one
by
young man,
purpose.
another young man who just got out, and he didn't have a place to go to. He went to the social services. They sent him to a shelter. He got a job, and they said the second week of his paycheck goes more than half goes to the shelter. So he says, "How am I going to get on my feet? I won't have any money to even move out of the shelter."
You can't move out the shelter until you're ready, right? But think about it. I used to be a house manager in a shelter not too far from here for 2 years. Realistically speaking, when they come to me with that same jargon, I talk to them real. You got to make do with what you got until it increases. Because talking any other
That
way, you're
makes
looking for a
So,
handout.
so tell me.
There is no
sense.
handout. There is no help. You have to do it for self.
That makes sense.
You have to align
Makes
yourself
sense.
with people, places, things, and resources that can help you.
Very
And
good.
you need somebody to talk to.
How would someone get in contact with you?
You can follow on Urban Life News Mag on Instagram, and you can follow us on our website at www.urbanlifenewsmagazine.com.
So that was Urban Life News Mag on Instagram.
Yes.
And can you say the website again?
And the website is urbanlifenewsmagazine.com. And you can subscribe or buy the latest issue. We got a new issue coming out next month, by the way.
Right. And the
Right,
issue,
right,
you can get straight up, sent
We-
straight up to the prison places.
That's
Yeah,
what
we're
I want to
authorized
know.
publishers, so once you subscribe or buy a copy, we'll
Great.
mail it to your loved one in any prison
Oh,
across the
that's
country
Right.
and out of the country as well.
Very good.
Do you
very
think
good.
that you'd be able to join us again to give us a little bit more insight and to provide more resources for our community?
Absolutely. If you guys are happy, I'll definitely come on back.
All right, thank you so
Very
much for
much.
sharing this information. Thank you for being vulnerable and obedient to the spirits that told you to be here. We talked about coincidences, that there are none.
And
Up next, we have Myxxx J. Woods and Robin. They're going to be giving us some tea. And you know, Myxxx is probably going to have one of her
Robin
wonderful
Watson.
poems. Thank you again,
Thank
Urban
you.
Life News
Yes.
Magazine. Check them out. Thank
Check
you
'em out.
guys.
Check 'em
Bye
out.
from the Myxxx.
yes.
Robin's Corner. Here at Robin's house. We're about to drop some tea on y'all with my girl Myxxx J. Woods and Miss Pamela J. Robinson. J?
No,
What?
Pamela
Robinson. No J.
You said
Sorry
she tried
about
to
that.
steal my J
Sorry.
already. Wow.
They both getting a J. I don't know. Instead of the D. Instead of the D, y'all.
That was that Henny.
You know? Exactly. So we're about to dish some tea for y'all, you know? So, Mika, what you got for us?
Girl, all right, so what we gonna start off with? We're gonna start off with this recent bit of white privilege that has just graced my timelines with Miss Lori Laughlin, who committed a federal crime. Federal crime.
500,000.
And spent 2 months in jail.
And her husband.
And spent 2 months in jail. Her husband won't get out till what is that, March?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he
But
got 5
hold
months.
on. We'll see about that, cause you know how not us do. They get out
Exactly.
real quick, cause it's white privilege, and you know there's gonna be a Lifetime movie about it in about 60 more days.
Exactly.
Speaking of Lifetime movies, they got a Lifetime movie coming out about Salt and Pepper. Ooh, if it ain't some Blue's Clues nonsense, I'm so upset about it.
Wow.
But you know that's that.
That's
I had to
neither
speak
here
on
nor
that
there.
because our people, we don't get sentenced the same way that they get sentenced for the same crime. Let it have been Wendy Williams who committed that crime. She'd have been in jail.
9 months, a year at least, exactly.
Lori Loughlin, she spent some time in
Good for her though.
in jail. She was probably right there next to Martha Stewart, you know? The same kind of person. But anyway, on to our show, Robin. Robin knows we got this show.
Kyla's back, y'all.
Yeah.
Kyla, did y'all see it this week?
We got to talk about last week too. Remember last week? Last week when somebody tried to kill Tariq.
Ooh.
And
That
Tariq
boy King.
What's his name? I don't even remember his name.
He was from the other movie.
Two bit showed up with the little peace finger. Remember, look.
Right on time.
Yeah, the piece. That's his contact info.
Because I was thinking Tariq is a punk for a minute, like can't you fight?
I'm like, Tariq, you
really?
can't fight. You only good with a gun.
Exactly.
But Two Bit came through, handled that handle, and then but so much has happened since then.
Yeah.
Zeke almost lost his entire career.
Exactly.
They had the gun to my boy's knee, was ready to his whole NBA life.
Exactly.
Facts, all them groupies, all that money, endorsements gone.
Yeah.
Flash through his head.
Gone. Everything. I was heartbroken for Zeke at that moment. Like, please don't end his career. He could be a millionaire one day.
I know. He got to
Like,
save
come
the
on.
family.
You know, I'm trying to be out here. I'm trying to be out here like 50 Cent said. Have a baby, my beat, baby, be a millionaire. You know, I was looking at Zeke like, come here, Queens.
Exactly.
I just feel like all the guys on Power need love, though. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something.
They definitely need love. Yes, Drew got shot. Oh my gosh! So this episode, my little gay boo. Oh my gosh, man, Drew got shot.
I know, but hopefully he gonna be all right.
Hopefully he gonna be all right. You know what I hope? That little basketball boo better go visit him in the hospital.
He better, exactly.
If he don't go
I think he
visit him in the hospital, he better.
If not, he better cut his ass off.
But
Exactly.
you know who I was happy kind of got shot? The cop. Oh,
He
boy. When Kane stood over him and was like, bah,
Exactly.
too late.
Kane ain't no joke neither. He just running rampant.
Somebody's gonna
You
kill
know,
Kane.
like you said, he taking over the streets. You know, they ain't killing Kane because you know he's our little roughneck.
His father gonna kill him.
You know?
If that's his father.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You know.
Kane is starting to look like Kanan's son.
Yeah.
And then he's like a little dark skin.
Yeah.
But not necessarily look at the girl. That's supposed to be his daughter as well. They don't all look like that daddy.
They don't all
sure
look like
don't.
that daddy.
They sure
They
don't.
don't all
Right
look like
about
that
that.
daddy, but
So.
everybody in these streets need love. Everybody needs to learn how to love the black man. Kane need love. Well, he was throwing them body parts in there. He was smiling and stuff. I was definitely kind of worried about the kind of mindset he had because I feel like everybody need love.
Yeah, everybody need love.
Maybe Monet didn't hug Kane as a kid.
Yeah, but that professor though. Follow people.
She been hugging. You talking about?
I'm talking about the one that she was sleeping with before. That professor, the man.
Oh, the guy.
Jabari looked like he was overhugged as a child. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a
running,
snitch.
He ain't over her though.
He's running
No,
around like he ain't got no sense.
Exactly.
He is a
Taking
snitch.
pictures.
He clearly wasn't raised in the hood.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Clearly,
Well,
he
he
was not
forgot.
raised in the hood.
Yeah.
You do not follow a drug dealer to their drug spot.
Exactly.
If you don't have a weapon, you trying to die. You know what I want to happen to Jabari? I want him to print out. I want him to print out everything that Tariq says and trap himself up in some stupidness
That's what's gonna
because he
happen.
knows too many
That's what's
details
gonna happen.
about a case that he wasn't supposed to know about.
Exactly, and that's exactly what's gonna happen. He gonna get caught out there, cause he think he know, or he think he on to something, and he's not. You know, and Tyreek keep moving. You know what I'm saying? He's
That's
doing
right.
that.
Yeah.
But I like how his mother told him, I might be in here, but if you hurt mine, I'm gonna find a
That's
way to
right.
hurt you.
That's right.
But
That's
you know-
a real mother.
But
Not
you,
saying plain.
you know who I want to love though? I'm not even gonna lie. Although he's kind of flip-floppy in this case, he flip-flopping. I'm telling you, before he got on this show, I was absolutely in love with him. He looked like, wait, I gotta finish. He looked like he got 2 well-behaved kids at home. He got a nicely manicured lawn. He looked like if he go, hey, his kid's gonna shut up and stop moving. Oh my gosh, Method Man? M-E-T-H-O-D, man.
Exactly.
He could get it anytime.
Look, every week he looking better and better.
What? He show you I can look good in a Scully or in a suit.
Exactly.
He can get it anything. I'm telling you. I tell you. But that brings me to my first piece that I want to share with y'all. Tonight I have more than one piece for you, right?
Okay.
Can you teach me how to love a black man?
Hey, let's make it good.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Can you teach me how to love the black man? I'm saying it shouldn't be hard for me because I was bred for this. I was bred to love a creature that the world only loves in silence. If you can't tell yet, this is my ode to the black man. I'm ready for it now. Just anybody, somebody, show me how to love them. It takes so much more that even your house is not safe. There are bigger threats awaiting them when he walks through the door. I already know that I have to pray for him. I have to pray that he makes it back safe. And that only makes me scared and not want him to leave. So I'm going to start an argument and make him feel guilty about leaving so that he can stay home with me. I'll take the guilt-ridden trip that he's going to give because it's worth it. Just to see my man home, safe. Can you tell me how to love the black man while I'm still struggling to love myself? Since the images that society has set out for beauty look nothing like me. And I have to deal with that. All while hoping that after he sees them, he still sees the beauty in me. Can you tell me how to love the black man, please? I swear, I learned early how to make a mean pot of greens and cornbread and fried chicken and potato salad, and I can even season ribs for him to put on the grill. But I'm sure it takes none of this. I'm sure he needs nothing more than a woman who is real. Maybe sometimes shrill, someone whose backbone is stronger than steel and can take a bullet if things ever got real. I'm just asking, can someone tell me how to love the black man? Because I'm just trying to learn.
Hey. You go, girl.
So,
y'all.
Thank you. But that was my ode to black man because I'm trying to learn how to love Method Man. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm just trying. I think he married.
That's all right. We just trying to learn how to love him in general.
Exactly.
And bring him home and let him stay home. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And this year has been definitely hard on our black people from police brutality to just how the media has portrayed them. This year in total, 2020 has been a doozy for our black people. Supposedly we got magic powers last week though. You know, I feel like I got the power of premonition and manifestation, you know, because December 21st, the winter solstice, black people got magical powers. If you ain't get yours, you better. I feel like my fingers should have twitched when I said that. You know, some stupidness.
Hey, give y'all some.
I've always had this black girl magic though. Shout out to the black girl magic on this couch right now. But, you know, 2020 has been a year. I am grateful for my Myxxx family. I'm grateful for Robin and Robin's house.
Everybody.
I'm grateful for Pam.
My Myxxx family members.
Yes. I'm grateful for all the people that I was blessed to meet this year. And I am sad for all of the people that we did lose this year.
Yes.
We lost a lot of great celebrities.
Everybody.
Yes. Many people are resting in paradise now, and to the families who lost them, my heart goes out to you. I pray for you daily. I pray for everyone because this has been a year for us all. Which brings me to my second piece, which it's not even titled because it's very new and it's to the people that I personally lost in 2020. But I want to give it to
Miss Mika J. Woods, Untitled.
So silly. I got on a plane today after I heard what happened. I thought I could fly up and catch you on your way to heaven. I just wanted to tell you one more time that my heart is yours and your heart is mine. I kept the shade up the entire flight just so I wouldn't miss the sight of you ascending gloriously. into the arms of the Lord that waited for you so patiently. To praise you for the good you've done so effortlessly, from being true to art, for being the person that you are, and being a friend to so many, not just me. You are the epitome of a greater being, and I guess you are the angel that God needed to watch over those who cared for you deeply. And I say this, and as I say this, it might come out selfishly, but I prayed to God to keep you here with me. I prayed that through your suffering, I could heal you lovingly. I thought that I could do better than the doctors, that you could be healed with just a hug from me. This I prayed, that knowing I could do nothing, but I didn't want you to leave. But you were already on your way to destiny. I'm trying to wrap my mind around you not being here with me, but it just doesn't seem to make sense. In every future scenario I play in my head, you are always ignoring everything that I said, annoying me into submission. And I fold because no matter how many times I say it, you still won't listen. But now you're missing. No longer on this earth. Now you are the face that I think of first when I look to heaven. And today I might cry, and tomorrow I might weep. And the tears may stream randomly one day next week, but each tear will be greeted with a smile at the end of my cheek. Eventually. For now I can only watch the clouds and pray that joy comes in the morning. And on one sweet day, you will welcome me into heaven for my own eternal dawning.
Wow.
Wow.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
Miss Mika J. Woods, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank
With
you.
another one of her powerful poems for the mix.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank you ladies for joining me tonight. And Miss Pam, do you have any donations, anything
Yes,
you'd
I would like to
you know?
say to the people that New Year's is almost here, and we still have people that are hungry and don't have. So if you can contact us at the Myxxx and donate canned goods, whatever you have, even meats, perishable, anything that can help them. You know, clothing, coats, because it's very cold and they need that as well. And we have a lot of homeless people as well. So if you can do that, look in the back of your closet. I'm sure it's coats that you have in there that you're not wearing. So if you can please call us at the Myxxx. Robert, do you know the phone number for the Myxxx?
1-844 MYXXX the Mix.
Thank you so much. Pamela Robinson.
Bye guys. Were we the end?
It's always the